Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be talking about all the things that I stopped buying in order to save money and just because I don't have the need or want to buy them anymore. Do grab yourself a cup of tea, a glass of wine, depending on what time you're watching this, and we'll go over a few of the things that I now don't buy and have instead been using the money to save and invest for financial freedom. The first thing that I stopped buying was clothes. Woo! I don't know when this happened, and really I feel like it was quite an unconscious decision. I spent a lot of time traveling, I worked multiple jobs, and usually I had a really steady income, and so I would just buy clothes and go shopping with my friends to like pass time. And then it got to a point, I think it was when I was in Vancouver, it got to a point where in my head was like, why am I buying clothes? I purged so many of my clothes. I read Marie Kondo's, I think it's called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. I will put the picture here of what the book is. I read this book and I purged so many of my clothes. Some I regret purging, but you have to go through that, I think, to go to the second stage where you actually know what to actually purge. After I did that, I kind of just stopped buying clothes. I don't know what it was. Something changed in me. I realized I was spending money on clothes that I hardly ever wore and I just didn't really enjoy. I didn't even like shopping. I really hate shopping. And I'm like, why am I going out shopping to do something I hate, number one, and buying clothes that I don't wear? It didn't make sense. And I just decided, I just stopped buying clothes. I've had this for so long, and this actually, I bought both of these in Korea over 5 years ago. This year I haven't, well, we're at the beginning of this year, but I haven't bought any clothes. Last year, the only clothes I bought were for a video that I did. I really don't buy a lot of clothes anymore. I don't find a need for it. If I have something that is maybe a staple item, like jeans that have holes in them, then I'll replace them. Same with shoes. Other than that, I just don't see the point. So yeah, I stopped buying clothes and I've saved so much money because of it. The next thing I stopped buying is coffee outside. So I buy filter coffee and we have some instant in the cupboard just in case, but I have stopped buying coffee from coffee shops. I don't go to coffee shops anymore. I don't go to Costa. I actually go to Cafe Nero. Back when O2 was doing, they have this thing called O2 Priority, and on Wednesdays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays I think it is, you get free coffee from Cafe Nero, and that was the only time that I would buy coffee outside. I can't even remember the last time I paid for a coffee in a coffee shop. It's been potentially a couple of years at this point, or at least a year, and if I do buy it, it's so really few and far in between, maybe a few times a year. But I can make better coffee at home, so I don't understand. I just didn't see the point in going out and spending money on coffee because I could just make it here for a fraction of the price. So I no longer buy coffee outside, and I've saved lots of money doing that. I do, however, buy really good quality filter coffee, and that brings me a lot more joy, and it also is way cheaper than buying subpar coffee from a coffee shop. Yeah, I said it, come for me. The next thing I stopped buying was, I stopped eating out. This I did purposefully, and it's just kind of stuck with me over time. Reason is because travel, drinks, tips, and service charge all add up. When you're going out multiple times a week to eat, I don't know, you're just in that environment, you're feeling loose, feeling really relaxed, you're like, I'll order a glass of wine, and then you're like, feeling generous today, I'll tip 10%, and then it's crazy. Especially in London now, where so many restaurants are making it mandatory to have a service charge, which I honestly do not understand. I can't tell you, I don't understand. People who work in restaurants get paid at least minimum wage. It's not like the setup in the States originally where you were paid below minimum wage if you did work in the service industry. That is not how it works here in the UK. So it used to frustrate me when I would go to places where there is actually no service, yet I still get a service charge, and then at the end there's like the option, would you like to tip on the, oh my god. It used to irk me, especially when you get really bad service and you have to pay that. It's usually 12.5%, so it's more than like what the basic tip would be, like say for like really terrible service. It's more than that, and you have to pay it. And if you're in bigger groups, really hard to calculate when you have a big group and you're trying to split it up and you're like, what's the service charge? And then everyone's just like, oh, it just makes life so hard. That is the big reason why I stopped eating out. And you know what? I get takeaway at home. I don't have to pay for service charge. I don't have to pay for travel to get there. And it ends up being cheaper. So, and I don't have to pay for drinks either. So yeah, that's one thing I'm happy that I stopped doing. But I do go out for very special occasions. So if it's a birthday and someone's having it in a restaurant, I won't be like, sorry, I can't come, you know. If it's one of my close friends, then I will go because it is good to socialize. I don't go out that much in the first place. So if it's someone's birthday, I'm happy to go to a restaurant to celebrate their birthday. And I just put money aside for that. So it's not like a big expense. The next thing I stopped buying, I had a snack subscription. I no longer have snack subscriptions and subscriptions like it. The only food subscription that I do now have is for coffee, and that is only once every 60 days. I no longer spend money on snack subscriptions or any of those other subscriptions that you sign up to for free 1 month and then you're like, oh, I'll cancel it later, and you never cancel it. And then you realize you've had it for about a year or two. That happened to me. That's how they get you with the free stuff. And then they'll give you like promos. So then you're like, oh, but I got one free and then I got like 50% off the next month. Just cancel it. If you want to save money, cancel those subscriptions, because in the long run, it really does add up. And you will find that your money is slowly dripping away. The fifth thing I stopped spending money on was taxis. I had a bit of a problem. I use taxis to get everywhere. It's the similar sort of thing with the promotions. There used to be this service in the UK called Captain. They've now merged with Free Now, and they're called Free Now. Anyways, they used to always give out promo codes like every week, and it'd be a promo code. I'm like, ooh, 30% off. That's such a good deal. Let me just get a taxi to work. No more cabs, no more cabs, no more taxi, no more rideshare services. Nope. I don't do it unless it's an emergency and I really have no choice, literally no choice, or I'm gonna lose money. No choice to do it. That's the only time I use them, and I don't even, like, I'm not going anywhere. We're in the L word, okay? No one's leaving their home. Thank God I don't really have to think about this anymore, but when I was working in film, I would spend a considerable amount on taxis, getting places. And now I only do it if I'm stuck somewhere and I can't get home. Other than that, nope. I cut it out. Oh my God, I was looking at my budget from 2 years ago and I spent so much on taxis. It was like depressing. I was looking through my budget to see all the things that I literally had cut out of my budget. Wow, I spent a lot. Like, it was so much. It's madness. It's madness. The next thing I stopped spending my money on was cinema tickets. Before everything that happened, I used to go to the cinema quite a lot. We used to live closer to a cinema, number one. And number two, I love watching films. I'm obsessed with movies, but I realized the expense of going to the cinema was so much. Like when you add the popcorn and the hot dogs, because I love hot dogs. I'm so obsessed. The popcorn, the hot dogs, drinks sometimes if you go to like one of those VIP cinemas where they have alcohol, it all adds up. The travel to get to the cinema also adds up. I realized it was a lot of money. And I started to slowly cut back, and eventually I just cut it out. Now, or before everything that happened, what I started doing was I only went to free screenings. So in the UK, we have some websites that give you tickets to free screening in the UK. One of them is called Show Film First or See Film First. I would literally just wait until a free screening came out and I would just go and watch random films that I liked the look of, and if I knew I wasn't working and I could get there, they're usually at about 6 p.m. that it starts, and they're always in the weekday. So it had to depend on my schedule. But I would go to these free screenings. It was free. I got to watch new films that I probably wouldn't have gone out and watched, and some of them were really good. Actually, a lot of them were really, really good. And it was free. You really can't beat free. You cannot beat free. The next thing I stopped spending my money on was hairstyling and hair braiding. I actually, even before this, before I decided that I wanted to cut back on my spending, I didn't really go to the hairdressers often, but when I was living abroad, I would go to the hairdressers once in a while, and it's something I didn't do a lot when I was younger because my mum always did my hair. So I grew up not spending money at hairdressers, and I didn't know how expensive it was until I was an adult and my mum couldn't do my hair no more because I live 3,000 miles away, and I had to learn to do it myself because after I'd spent like, I don't know how much on hairdressers, I was like, this is a lot of money. How do people do this for like their whole life? So I got on YouTube and I taught myself how to braid hair. I taught myself how to do crochet braids. I taught myself how to do it all. Everything I wanted to do. I taught myself how to relax my hair before I went natural. Anything it was, I learned how to do it and I did it myself. And I have saved thousands and thousands of pounds this way. It's crazy. I don't even want to calculate the lifetime expense of hair. But I just do it myself. I trim my hair myself. Maybe one day I'm gonna go and get my hair professionally colored at some point in my life. I'm gonna get it professionally colored and cut. Probably for the first time ever actually. I just trim my hair myself. I cut my hair myself. I always have. And it's worked for me. My hair is healthy. I can't really, I'm not spending money on it. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to spend money on hairstyling. The next thing I'm no longer spending my money on is upgrading my phone. So I've upgraded my phone 2 years ago and my contract is gonna be up in a couple of months. After this, I am no longer spending any more money on upgrading my phone. So that's it. It's so expensive. Like when you look at the cost of your phone over 24 months, now I've been looking at the contracts, they're like, because there's a free upgrade with my phone, right, because it's coming towards the end of its term. Of course they now are like, you can have a free upgrade if you want. Can I cancel for free? Because I really would like to do that. The contracts now for the upgrades, the contracts are 36 months. What? These companies are really taking advantage. It's cheaper for me to save my money over a year and buy the phone outright rather than spending 24 months on a contract, paying off the phone and paying for my service. So I'm not doing it anymore. So I'm gonna keep this phone until it dies, and then when it does, I will be getting a phone outright and being on a very affordable month-to-month plan. The next thing I stopped buying was perfume. Now I love a good scent. I like to have a good scent on the go because it is nice to smell nice. I no longer actually buy perfume. All the perfume I have is either gifted or gifted. It's literally the only way I get perfume. I bought one perfume and that was when I was on holiday, and I bought it because it was a scent that reminded me of when I was a teenager and I still like the scent. And I was like, oh my god, this is so nostalgic. So I bought it. It was from Pull&Bear, which is not a place you go to buy perfume at because I don't buy perfume anymore. I happened to be in Pull&Bear and I smelled this perfume in Spain and I was like, I have to get this perfume. So I got it. I no longer buy perfume. And the last thing that I have stopped spending my money on is makeup. For about the last 6 years, I stopped buying makeup. I now only buy foundation and mascara and eyeliner when the last one I used ran out. But I literally do not buy any more makeup because I have so much makeup. Number one, it goes out of date, by the way. If you didn't know, your makeup does expire. Half the time I wear a lipstick only for a season and then I just grow out of it and I'm like, that's not my color anymore, so I move on. And then it's just sitting there half used. What a waste of money. They're actually really expensive. So I've just stopped buying makeup. I only buy foundation now because I need it for work and for YouTube videos. So I only wear makeup when I'm filming YouTube videos or going to work. If I'm not working in film or I'm not filming, I usually don't wear makeup. Even when I go out to like the grocery store, like when I was going out. Back in my days when you could go out to restaurants and clubs and bars. Oh, those were good days. Remember those days? Yeah, those days are over. I don't buy it anymore. I only buy it when I need it, which is usually once a year, if that. So those are the 10 things that I stopped buying as a financial minimalist. I like to think of myself that way. What have you stopped buying over the years? What have you stopped buying to save money over the years? Let me know down in the comments below and I will see you guys next time with another video. Until then, bye.